Our next presentation focuses on two new apps that we released in December, the Operation Dashboard and the Collector for ArcGIS. These two configurable apps are used for collecting field observations, managing a mobile workforce, and providing situational awareness for your operation centers. Now, we came up with a wild idea. Rather than just demonstrating the apps to you today, why not run a real operation right here and right now? So this operation is codenamed Operation Gold, or OpGold for short. So what is OpGold? Well, it's a mission to deploy a mobile workforce on the streets of DC to collect information on all things gold. All things gold. So what is gold? Well, honestly, I have no idea. And that's exactly why we're going to do this mission. We're going to send people out, and we're going to gather intel and figure out what is gold on the streets of DC. So for each of us, we can define what gold means to our organization. For Homeland Security, it might mean finding a gold-painted car with hidden explosives. For EPA, it might mean collecting water quality samples of heavy metals. And for HHS, it might mean providing the highest level of health care to those in need, the gold standard. So these are all missions to find gold in our own way. So to get us started and learn how to set up our operation and to configure our field collection app, please welcome Joe Fraley.
Thanks, John. As John mentioned, before we start any mission, we need to do some pre-planning. Like we need to design our schema, and we need to configure our applications. One of the applications that we're going to use for this mission is the Collector for ArcGIS. And this application was recently released, and you can go and download it from the Android or iOS stores. So let's take a look at the application. We can launch the application once we've downloaded, and you're presented with a sign-in screen. Now, we could sign in, but we're just going to click the little link at the very bottom that says Try Collector. Now we're presented with several web maps. And these web maps have been configured specifically for the Collector application. So there's 9 samples that you can play with and try out the application. I'm going to go in and do a damage assessment map, or open the damage assessment map. Now, when the map opens, I'm also presented with a toolbar of functionality within the application. So the first thing I want to do is take advantage of the GPS of my device and zoom to our current location. Now I can begin to do my damage assessment. Now, typically, with any mobile device or mobile web map application, we can go in and add our information. So we've shown collecting data on your device many times. I'm going to go in and add some attributes, some additional information, and then I'm going to collect my location, and I'm going to use the current location that I'm at. Click Done. I could also add a photo, but you've seen that probably many times. Now that we've added our location, I can see it on the map. This application does a few more things, like being able to search what's around me. So for instance, maybe I want to know where Metro Center is, execute my search, and it finds Metro Center on the map. Some other options that I have that can be configured with the application is getting directions to that location. So now I can get my directions and see those turn-by-turn directions to get to Metro Center. Now it has typical map navigation capabilities as well, zooming in, panning, etc., as well as measuring and changing out the base maps. So that's a quick tour of the application. But you're probably thinking, how do I get my data into that application? Well, it's as simple as creating a web map. And all you have to do to create a web map is go online. So I've signed into my organization, and I've begun to build my web map to support my mission. So the first thing is my location tracking. My schema contains this hosted service to allow me to track the positions of our field crew. Next, I want to know their status. Is everything okay? Are there issues? Or do they really need help and we need to send support and they've got a 911 call? Last is our gold observations. This is called OpGold. So our goal is to collect gold or find gold. So these are the types of gold that we'll be collecting in our field, the data layer that our field crew will be using in the Collector application throughout this mission. So I saved my web map, but I'm not quite done yet. A little bit more configuration. Last, I want to edit the properties of that web map. And if I scroll down to the very bottom of that properties page, I have some options for application settings. And this controls what tools are provided to that end user using the application. So the routing you just saw, I could turn that off and not allow them to execute routing. But you have control of that. The last thing is how often I want to collect their current location. So for instance, in our mission, we're going to collect every 30 seconds. So I've configured my web map, I've saved it, I've set those parameters, so now we're ready to start our mission. But to help us with that mission, I need a field crew. So what I'd like to do right now is introduce my field crew. Hi, y'all. Thanks for coming out. So they've brought their own devices. They've downloaded the collector application onto their devices. And they've got the web map that I just saved. So they're ready to go to execute our mission. So go. Leave. Be safe. Have some fun. And I'll turn it back over to you, John.
OK, thanks, Joe. But I have one question before you get away. How do we know those 20 people are actually going to go outside and freeze to death and do what we asked?
Well, hopefully they won't freeze to death.
Oh.
But check back in 20 minutes. I'll prove it to you when I unveil the operations dashboard.
OK, sounds good. Thanks, Joe.